Okay, well, Jared, thank you. You're going to the conference in Bahrain very soon. Tell us about the key elements of your plan and what is the goal?
So we're doing a workshop in Bahrain where we were invited to the region. We developed a very extensive economic plan for the region. The plan would invest about $50 billion in the region. It would create 1 million jobs in the West Bank and Gaza. It would take their unemployment rate from about 30% to single digits. It would reduce their poverty rate by half if it's implemented correctly. It's a 10-year plan. It would double their GDP. The reason we're calling this a workshop and not a conference is because we want to get feedback and hopefully finalize it so that we can then coordinate a lot of the aid efforts and investing efforts to really drive results.
And of the 50 billion, how is it divided? Does it all go to the Palestinians or some other countries involved?
Yeah, more than half goes to the West Bank and Gaza, and then what we also want to do is stimulate Jordan, Egypt, and Lebanon, because if you can get that whole region starting to lift and you're able to get quicker flow of goods, quicker flow of people, and all of the different areas that are necessary in industry instead of bullets and munitions and war, then I think that will really lead to a big increase in investment in the area and more jobs and better quality of life and hopefully more peace along with it.
Now, past peace plans have struggled. How is this one different?
Well, I have to say that this is one of the hardest problems that exists in the world, and there's been a lot of attempts at it, which have all been, I think, very well-intended and noble attempts to try and solve it. When we got involved, we looked at all these attempts and we tried to study why they didn't work, and there's a lot of good things that were done. We tried to take all the good things they did and then come up with a new approach to try to bring this forward. What we're hoping to do is create a framework where we can change the discussion and get people to look at these problems differently and more granularly, and hopefully in a way that can lead to some breakthroughs.
Should we view this as a Marshall Plan type proposal?
So our intention wasn't to set out to do that, though a lot of people who have peer reviewed it have said that it does resemble the Marshall Plan. I've been reading more about the Marshall Plan, and one of the things that they did very successfully was they didn't just give aid, they infused money into the private sector, and they created an environment where businesses can thrive, capital could be invested. This is a similar notion where you're not just giving people fish like we've been doing here for a long time. You're teaching them to fish, and then you're buying them fishing rods, and you're helping them become something that will be much more sustainable, because the current status quo is not a sustainable situation, and I think everyone agrees on that.
Now, how can this conference succeed and get the economic plan off the ground with the Palestinians boycotting and with Arab countries coming saying they won't give up on the Palestinian aspirations?
Yeah, I think everyone cares about the Palestinian cause. We care about the Palestinian cause, and we're trying to help find a solution. People are tired of the way that this has been stuck in the mud for so long, and what we're hoping we can do is get people to look at this a little bit differently, come together, share ideas, and then hopefully we can create a framework on which to move forward economically.
And at what point do you release the political plan? Does it hinge on the success of the economic conference?
No, when we're ready. Again, that's something we've been working on now for 2 years. It's a very extensive document, something that I do think will, again, make people look at this a little bit differently and hopefully bring people to the table to start having a discussion about how to resolve these long-standing issues. But that's a separate topic, and we'll deal with it at a later date.
Some critics say you're trying to make an economic peace without telling people what the political peace would involve. Now, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, I would say that the political side and the economic side are two very robust efforts, and to digest both of them at one time would be very, very hard. So it was necessary, I think, to break them up. So the question is, which one do you put first? Our thought was that it was better to put the economic plan first. It's less controversial. Let's let people study it, give feedback. Let's try to finalize, if we can all agree on what that could look like in the event of a peace agreement. And then what we'll do is we'll move forward. We view our job as to try. It's very easy to find reasons why this could fail. We think about that all the time, but our job is to try to be more optimistic and to come up with situations that could maybe change the paradigm. And I hope that by seeing this plan that we've spent a lot of time working on for a better economic future for the Palestinian people and for the region, people will start to look at this problem through a slightly different lens, and maybe that leads to some badly needed breakthroughs.
Thank you, Jared Kushner.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.